Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of August 17th through the 23rd. And during that time, we'll have a waning crescent moon, and that's a really good time for surrender, rest, and healing. Time to just really fully let go, rest, get ready for the new cycle ahead, which begins on the new moon on the 23rd. So, might want to just be evaluating things and kind of just getting ready for a new cycle, for new beginnings, new starts, that sort of thing. So, keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter, Capricorn. So, of course, please keep that in mind. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't for someone else. And your overall message for this reading, Capricorn, is the energy is gaining momentum. All right, let's see what the Capricorn Collective has going on. Let me shut this drawer on my desk. It's stuck here. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. And here we go. As I'm shuffling, Capricorn, I would like to remind you, my weekly reminder for the week anyway, is that you get out in nature a little bit this week. So whatever your nature situation, if you are a hiker or if you like to maybe have a picnic, maybe for some reason I'm getting the vision of some of you on a boat. Maybe you like to get out on your boat, but just do something to get out in nature this week and just really enjoy the miracle of nature in whatever way you find that enjoyable. So it's really, if it's a time of surrender and rest, as the moon cycle says, that sometimes nature's happy to take some of that surrender off of you. Just a really good way to recharge. So, all right, Capricorn, without further ado, let's get into this reading. August 17th through the 23rd. The energy is gaining momentum. Let's see what you guys have going on. Your present energy is the Nine of Cups. So you're sitting in a place of, kind of satisfied with things. You might be indulging yourself a little bit. So, okay, things look like they're going pretty good, or you're at least indulging in something. Let's see what your current situation is. A little bit of heartbreak here. So something is going on. I feel like, didn't you guys have something last week with indulging? And is it leading to a little bit of heartbreak? Did something happen for you this week? If some energy is gaining momentum, is this three of swords have something to do with it? And this just could be, sometimes those are going through a heart, but that's also sword energy. So it could be just mental, just you're just kind of done mentally, or there's some kind of mental heartbreak that it's just, something is sad for you. So let's see what some more cards have to say here. The root of your situation is maybe something related to your youth or your childhood. This could be something or someone from your past that is coming in, and I'm almost getting the idea that you maybe got some sort of news about something that was heartbreaking. Maybe someone from your past, someone that you knew in your childhood, or something that was that's just not the best news, is kind of what I'm feeling in your recent past here. Yeah, it's that you're coming into this already feeling a little anxious about something, that you've maybe had something going on that is causing you some anxiety. You've just had a lot on your mind. And if I remember, I feel like your reading last week was the same way. So, are you indulging a little bit too much, or you've got some kind of heartbreak or something going on, but you're just mentally really, really stressed. So, if this is the energy that's gaining momentum, I really do hope that you do take some time to get away a little bit this week. Get out in nature, get out with yourself, talk to a tree. If you need to let some of this off of your chest, a tree or a plant or a flower will definitely keep your secrets. So will a squirrel, just letting you know. A fish will do it too. If you like to fish and you catch a fish, you can tell that fish anything and throw him right back. Nobody's ever going to know what you talked about. All right, what's on your mind? Well, there's your card, isn't it, with the devil card. So, this is false truths, lack of confidence. This is also obsession. This could be being closed minded. This is that devil on your shoulder that is saying, yeah, do it. This can also be dependency, which I do believe that's what we discussed last week. So if you are still really battling with that, or with something having to do with that, It's causing you so much stress. If this is some kind of energy, I mean, are you getting to a boiling point where you're just not going to be able to do it anymore? And that might mean reaching out for help if you need to. Um, but I just feel like, you need to let some positive things in if you're just really going through kind of a dark time. Let's see what's just ahead of you. Hopefully, yeah, some judgment here. So this could be judgment from others, but also judgment of yourself. That and that's how we learn. Judgment is about evolving because it's about really looking at what's going on in our life and deciding, you know what, I'm done. I'm done. I'm making the judgment that I'm done. And all of a sudden now you're evolving. You've got this new awareness and um, this new groundwork to lay in front of you and to move on in a very, in a more positive manner. This is just kind of the hard truths of life. We all get to these points where you come to something where something just has to give. You have to make a decision. And so hopefully that's the energy that's gaining momentum, is this is being put upon you until you're like, stop, just stop the world and make the change that needs to happen. In your advice position, okay, interesting. This is the Six of Wands, which is usually about kind of being celebrated in your community. Are you being falsely celebrated in your community for some reason? I don't know. But we also have now two sixes on the table. So if this is in your advice position, that might take me a second just to really think about what this would mean in your advice position. And I almost get the feeling like um, to let go of the false, that maybe you are being falsely celebrated, but you need to let go of that and kind of face the reality of what's really going on. And here's what I'm feeling is that you're kind of put up on a pedestal for some reason. You're kind of celebrated for something, for maybe some accomplishments that you've had or whatever, but you've got some really dark things that are going on in the background here that you kind of feel like, well, I shouldn't be celebrated because of these things, that and which maybe that's true. And so it might be time for you just to come together with one other person. And again, if that means reaching out to like a therapist or something to kind of get this stuff off your chest and start to deal with this. But that you're kind of feeling the weight of that, that people have put you up on a pedestal and you don't feel deserving of that pedestal. And maybe, it could be that you are even the stuff aside, maybe you're very, very deserving of being where you are, but you do have some other things that you're managing and dealing with here. What is beyond your control this week is the King of Pentacles. So even through all of this stress, and maybe that's why you're celebrated, you're still able to manage things. You're still able to kind of keep that false front up. And I would say this would maybe be at home or at work. In your community, you're celebrated for being kind of a strong person, but you've got these things that you're managing and dealing with. And if that's the case, again, if you reach out and talk to someone, I really think you should, or just get yourself out in nature to learn how to deal with this. If this energy is gaining momentum, it's going to have to come to a head at some point. What is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid? Is feeling like you against the world. I would imagine that that's something that you're trying to avoid that. So, do you have a friend or something that you can reach out to talk to? Do you have a friend from your past that would understand you more than anyone in your present life? This could be even a sibling, or, someone who kind of knows where you come from, if that makes sense. That, maybe where you come from does affect things like your dependency, or how you manage things, how you distract yourself, how you deal with stress and manage things. So if there's a person like that, reach out and find them, and go talk to them. In your outcome position is the Five of Swords. So it's almost like, if this energy is gaining momentum, maybe words are now being exchanged about it. Whatever this momentum is, whatever. And I feel like it is this negative thing. You're able to keep up this false front, and you're able to manage things, keep your life going and whatever. But there's just kind of this inner boiling energy inside of you of something that's really eating at you or stressing you out. And you have to manage it. What is hidden from you this week? Okay, is the Eight of Swords. So And this card is about thinking your way out of something, and you don't have that's hidden from you. You do not have the ability yet to think your way out of this. You are it's it's stressful. It's still stressful, and it's heartbreaking to you, whatever this is. But it is affecting you, and my advice again is to find a friend, and if that friend is maybe someone from your past, to just sit down and really have a good talk and heart to heart, and that may help you out with whatever this energy that's gaining momentum for you this week. I do think you need some sort of release, and to talk to somebody about it. And next week should be better. Once we get through these, the universe likes to test us with these things, and it seems like that is exactly what you're going through, is some sort of test, and you need to succeed. And if that means talking to someone, um, then go ahead and do that. The Soul Oracle deck says, reflect on your truth. Reflect on your truth. And again, if that's something from your past or some way that you manage and deal with things because of your past, it could be that that was just your example of how to deal with things, and you need to change that about yourself. And it's not easy. It's not easy, but this energy, again, if this energy is gaining momentum, um, you need to just put a stop to it. You need to definitely decide how you're going to move forward. You need to make those judgments and move forward in a way. And maybe it is you against the world, and this is just a personal battle that you need to fight and get through. It may be difficult for you, and that's why you're snapping at other people and saying things that maybe you don't need to say. But again, if you can find someone to talk to work these things out, I feel like it's deeper than you let on. It's not something that's surface that people really see. I mean, they might see that you're acting out and being a little snappy, but nobody really understands why. But you need to let someone in there, right? So let someone in, Capricorn. I think you have the ability to do that, and I think that that's a way that's going to be helpful to you. Okay, self-care for Capricorn this week. Self-care, and the card that comes up for you is to elevate. And it says self-worth here at the top of this card. You get what you believe you deserve. It's time to raise your standards. So yeah, raise your standards up, and especially when it comes to these internal things. I mean, we all have these internal struggles that we go through. If you're dealing again with some sort of dependency struggle, you're not alone. Other people deal with that, and there's ways to manage it. We're in a world now where you can find programs to work on that, whether it's rehab, 12-step programs, that sort of thing. If there's some sort of dependency that you're dealing with, because you might just be getting to the place where you're just sick of dealing with it. It's the heartbreak of it, and because you have an outer world that seems to be very, very successful, and that maybe there's this quiet part in you that is somehow dealing with pain on this level. And like, I think that was the thing last week too, is are you kind of just reaching for that drink a little more than celebration? It's more for numbing you. So Capricorn, I wish you the best of luck with this. I really do. I feel kind of the weight, the heaviness inside of you, and the stress that you're going through. And it doesn't have to be like that. You're being presented with something that is it's pretty dark and it's pretty deep, but it is a test. Everything's a test. You can succeed at this test. You need to reflect on your truth. Who are you really? And let's make a judgment to move forward in a more positive way in the future. So, Capricorn, thank you so much for being here. Of course, if you're comfortable sharing, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what it is that you're going through, and if this reading, touched you in any manner. I do post every week, so come back next week. We'll see if this energy has kind of improved a little bit. Let's see if you're making some progress on it, which I hope you do. If you like my reading style, of course, please like and subscribe. It helps me in the algorithm and pushes my videos out, which I really appreciate as a new reader. But more importantly, Capricorn, it'll help you find me next week, and we'll see what cards come out for you next week, and hopefully it gets a little better for you. So internet hugs to you, Capricorn. Good luck with the situation, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.